16 high achievers gave up. But in just 3 minutes, a humble secretary discovered the life-changin'. Lily's hands shook as she pried open the old closet door, dust swirling like trapped memories in the stagnant air of the hospital's storage room. She felt the weight of disappointment settle on her shoulders like a heavy load. 16 of her brightest colleagues had resigned, their dreams withering under pressure. The stories of their ambition faded, leaving only echoes of regret. As she rummaged through cardboard boxes, her heart sank deeper with each name that flitted through her mind. Then, tucked away in the corner, she stumbled upon a dusty box. It was filled with letters from veterans, their ink faded but emotions vivid. "We fought so you could chase your dreams," one letter began, and Lily's breath caught. In that moment, she felt their sacrifices wrapping around her like a warm embrace. Tears welled up, threatening to spill over as she realized these brave souls fought for freedom, yet here she was, held captive by her own fears and doubts. It was a stark awakening. A surge of determination rolled through her. She could honor them. She needed to finish what they started, fight for her own faded dream of pursuing higher education, but doubt crept in, like weeds choking that tiny blossom of hope. Her family gathered around the dinner table, love mingling with anxiety in the air. "Lily, what about your job? What about us?" they urged, their voices thick with worry. Every word felt like a barb to her heart. She loved them fiercely, but what about her life? Would her loyalty smother her dreams? The tension swelled, heavy with unspoken fears. Days turned into a blur of planning. Lily timidly filled out applications for night classes, trembling at the thought of judgment from her colleagues. Whispers slithered through the break room, snaking around her resolve. "Who does she think she is?" they murmur. Each setback chipped away at her spirit. But all it took was one community event, one heartfelt speech from a local high school football coach who shared his own battles against despair. "We're stronger together," he exclaimed. It ignited a spark in the crowd, a wave of empathy washing over her. That night, emotions spilled over. Tears thrummed in her eyes as she stood up to speak. "I want to follow my dreams," she proclaimed, voice tremulous but bold. "And that's not abandoning you. It's honoring what you taught me: hard work, resilience, and the belief that I can be more." The room felt charged. Hope flickered in faces illuminated by understanding. But then, a voice broke through the murmurs, challenging everything she thought she knew. "What if you fail?" It cut through, sharp and cold. Silence ensued, a palpable tension hanging heavy. Lily felt a rush of uncertainty, the weight of those words pulling at her heartstrings as doubt wrestled with her dreams. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Lily took a deep breath, the weight of uncertainty swirling around her like dark clouds. This was a pivotal moment. Would she step into the light, bold and unafraid, or retreat back into the shadows that had kept her bound for so long? The crowd held its breath, an electric hush that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. She could feel the eyes on her, every single one waiting. Hope burned brighter, but so did the fear. Which path would she dare to walk? Lily's heart pounded in her chest, each beat reverberating in the stillness of the room. Faces turned towards her, a mixture of curiosity and skepticism dancing in their eyes. The weight of expectation pressed down on her. She knew that whatever she said next could make or break this moment. She thought about the letters, the stories of courage, about those veterans who fought so fiercely for a future just like hers. Every letter was a reminder of resilience, of fighting when all seemed lost. "What if I fail?" she echoed, finding strength in the challenge. "But what if I soar?" The words came tumbling out, propelled by a swell of passion. What if I take that leap and land somewhere incredible? The only way to know is to try. A ripple of murmurs spread through the audience. Lily saw her mother fidgeting in her seat, expressions crossing her face, a mix of pride, worry, and hope. Suddenly, she felt the warmth of her father's hand on her shoulder, grounding her. That touch seemed to dissolve her fears just enough for her to forge ahead. I want to honor those dreams, she continued, raising her voice. I want to show all of us that we can pursue our passions without fear. The crowd began to respond, small nods and whispers echoing back, fueling her resolve. She felt electrified, moments of life flooding back into her. We owe it to ourselves to chase what we truly want, don't we? Her confidence grew with every word, weaving through the listing energy in the room. For too long, we've allowed uncertainty to wall us in, she said. We've watched others give up, afraid to break from the norm. But each time we're silent about our desires, we risk losing pieces of ourselves. I refuse to lose my chance. Let us not just survive, but thrive. Lily took a step forward into the spotlight, connecting eye to eye with those familiar faces. She saw her colleague Mark, anxiety sharp in his brow, and remembered whispering conversations of hopes and dreams shared over coffee. She spoke to him, to every kindred heart facing fears alone. We have each other. And together, we can embrace the unknown. Isn't that what makes life truly vibrant? Her words sparked a flicker of something in Mark's gaze. Hope. Perhaps he too had dreams long shelved away, and they could take the first step together. Then out of the corner of her eye, she caught sight of Ms. Gonzalez, the head of human resources, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, skepticism weighing heavily in her posture. What about job performance? She interjected, her voice cutting through Lily's rising momentum. Pursuing dreams won't pay the bills. That one sentence hung in the air like a dark cloud. Lily's heart lurched as the room went still again. For a moment, doubt crept back in, gnawing at the newfound spark. She needed to address this. Pursuing my education will enhance my contributions here, Ms. Gonzalez, she said confidently, surprising herself with the steadiness in her voice. Investing in me ultimately benefits us all. It's not just about what I want, it's about building a stronger team. Those goals aren't mutually exclusive. A flicker of interest sparked in a few faces, shifting the energy as the doubt began to recede. The tension in the room was palpable. Lily knew she was at the precipice of something important. She wasn't just speaking for herself anymore, she was igniting a collective flame. Let us take this journey together, let us lift each other up. If we don't, who will? Cheers began to ripple softly, uncertainty morphing slowly into encouragement. Laughter bubbled up, a genuinely shared moment of connection. She smiled wide, her heart swelling with that collective hope. But then, deep within, a voice whispered yet again. What if you're wrong? What if you fall? The room danced with newfound energy, but doubts flickered in her mind as well. Turning back, she faced her fears squarely. All she could do was try. And with that thought, she delivered her final call to action, join me. Let us find our wings together. As applause erupted, Lily caught her breath, overwhelmed by the power of her own words. The crowd surged toward her, emboldened, energized. Would she be able to sustain this passion? Would they venture forth, together? The night was now alive with possibility, yet lurking questions still loomed. Could they all find the courage to leap, or would fear pull them back into the shadows? And as the crowd cheered, a stunning realization hit her: this was just the beginning. Everything hinged on what they would do next, and that uncertainty sparked an electrifying thrill. What would be the next step in their shared journey? The moment the applause began to fade, Lily felt a mix of exhilaration and vulnerability wash over her. The faces around her were still beaming, charged with enthusiasm, yet those unshakable doubts lingered like shadows in her mind. She stepped off the little platform that had transformed into her battleground, heart racing. Mark was the first to reach her, his brow unknotted, eyes sparkling. "That was incredible, Lily. You really stirred something in all of us," he said, his voice almost a whisper, as if afraid the magic would evaporate. "Thanks, Mark," she replied, her voice steady but still trembling inside. She wanted to tell him that, for a moment, she had felt in control, powerful even. But as she looked around at the group slowly dispersing, she couldn't shake off the tightness in her chest. Would they actually act on this newfound inspiration? "Hey, come to lunch with us," Mark offered, gesturing towards a few colleagues who still lingered nearby. Lily hesitated. The idea of bantering about dreams while old habits loomed just outside felt like walking a tightrope. "I think I need a minute," she said. Just to breathe. Mark's face fell briefly, but he nodded. "Okay, but don't be a stranger, all right? Let us keep this going." As she watched him join the group, laughter moments echoed in her mind, but her thoughts began to spiral back to Ms. Gonzalez's question. She inhaled deeply, letting the rhythm of her breath guide her thoughts. It was no longer just about her dreams, it was the tension between ambition and the practicalities of life, a tug-of-war haunting. So many minutes ticked by, and a sense of isolation started creeping in. Lily was startled when Ms. Gonzalez approached her, a different expression on her face now, part curiosity, part challenge. "Can we talk?" Lily nodded, feeling that old knot in her stomach returning. "Sure." They moved to a less crowded corner of the room, the bustle of retreating colleagues fading into a distant murmur. "I have to admit," Ms. Gonzalez started, her voice softer now, "I didn't expect you to deliver something so inspiring." "Thank you," Lily replied, a cautious smile breaking through. "But," Ms. Gonzalez continued, "the idea of pursuing dreams feels risky, doesn't it?" Those words tugged at her. "I feel that every day." "I want to understand," Ms. Gonzalez said, "what if chasing dreams leads to disappointment? What if it distracts from our responsibilities?" The sincerity in her tone caught Lily off guard. "What if pursuing my passion allows me to contribute in ways I never imagined? We could benefit from each other's growth." A slight nod from Ms. Gonzalez made Lily's heart skip a beat. "If we all chased our dreams, would we still have a team left? Maybe if we redefine what team really means," Lily replied. "It's about supporting one another, isn't it? Not just within these walls, but in every aspect of life." Lily's heart raced, as a spark ignited between them, a connection forged by mutual concern and unshared fears. Ms. Gonzalez's expression shifted, as though a door had been opened, if only just a crack. "Perhaps we could start a conversation around this," Ms. Gonzalez suggested, lifting the veil of skepticism. "Bringing everyone on board could change our workplace." But? Lily asked, breath catching. "What about those who want to stick to the status quo? They won't be easy to convince," she warned, a weight back in her tone. Lily's heart sank momentarily, realizing that not everyone would embrace change like Mark had. But she felt something new, a sense of purpose. "I believe in the power of shared dreams," she said, resolve solidifying in her chest. "Maybe it's time they heard our stories." As they spoke, other colleagues began to drift back into the room, but Lily felt renewed optimism, a growing purpose to rally them all. If dreams brought them together, they could face the hurdles together too. Yet, she couldn't shake the concern lingering in her thoughts. How would they break down those walls of doubt that stood firm around some? As Lily pondered this, the weight of what lay ahead began to settle in, but so too did the thrill of possibility. What would become of the team if they dared to dream together? Would they truly be able to lift each other, or would the echoes of skepticism drown them out? Outside, the world awaited them, but first, they had to break the silence within. And as she caught Ms. Gonzalez's eye, both women recognized the distance yet the potential between them, a path yet unexplored. Did they dare tread it together? Lily felt the excitement in the air start to dissipate, replaced by the uncertainty of what lay ahead. As colleagues shuffled in and out of conversation, the vibrant energy from the presentation faded like an echo. She watched Mark laugh with a group nearby, his joy infectious, but there was a growing knot in Lily's stomach. "Okay, here goes," she whispered to herself, gathering her thoughts like fragile papers left out in the wind. She made her way towards the center of the room, her heart thumping louder with every step. If she were going to face the team, it had to be now. "Hey everyone!" she called out, her voice crashing through the murmurs. The room quieted, and all eyes landed on her. She took a deep breath, steadied her hands, and realized she had their attention. "I know how things can feel heavy. Every day, we come in, do our jobs, and sometimes forget what we're passionate about. But what if we could change that? What if we could support each other? We have so many dreams that are worth exploring together." Whispers began circulating. Some exchanged glances while others nodded, unsure but curious. A mix of interest and skepticism played across the crowd, and Lily could feel the weight of their doubts. She took a step forward, fueled by determination. "I believe we owe it to ourselves to at least discuss the possibilities. Let us share our dreams, maybe even the ones we keep close to our hearts. We could brainstorm a way to invigorate not just our work, but our entire lives." A voice piped up from the back, a familiar tone. "But what happens when those ideas clash? People have different visions. Isn't that just going to create more conflict?" It was Dana, her longtime colleague, pragmatic and oftentimes the realist in the room. "Conflict?" Lily echoed, glancing at Ms. Gonzalez, who stepped closer. "Or growth? If we dive deep and collaborate, we might discover so much more than just our dreams. We could find common ground, and even create something amazing." Mark finally made his way over, an encouraging smile urging her on. "I think it's worth it," he added, standing beside her. "Lily's right. We can't keep burying our hopes for fear of disagreement. That's the way things stay stagnant. Sometimes you have to shake things up to see what can really happen." A ripple of agreement sparked in the room. The tension hung thick, but there was a flicker of hope in the air. The fear of the unknown, the fear of conflict began to step back, and curiosity emerged to take its place. "What do you suggest, then?" Dana asked, eyebrow raised, but there was a hint of warmth in her voice. Lily's heart soared for a moment. Discussing their aspirations as a team felt like opening Pandora's box. "Let us make a space where everyone feels safe to share. Maybe a discussion board, or a weekly circle. Nothing is too small or too big, and we can work together. Imagine if we all shared, how could we utilize our collective strengths to inspire each other?" As more voices joined in, Lily felt that knot loosening, transforming into something lighter. Skepticism still lingered like the last gusts of wind before a storm, but now it was softening, reshaped by the blossoming conversation around her. Ideas sparked in ways she couldn't have dreamed of just minutes before, yet as excitement grew, a small thought nagged at the edge of her mind: what if they were met with resistance? What if some colleagues remained trapped in their routines, utterly content with the status quo? Determined to find out, Lily smiled and said, "Let's keep this going. Let's challenge ourselves to think beyond the ordinary. Who knows what we might create together?" The room buzzed, energy building. She felt a mix of fear and thrill, but she knew they were finally moving. As she looked around, seeing the glimmer of hope in her colleagues' eyes, she realized they were standing on the precipice of something profound. But would this momentum last? Would they be brave enough to push through the barriers that lay beyond the initial excitement? That uncertainty lingered, holding its breath. "Let us meet again soon," she concluded, her voice firm. "We can make plans, keep the conversation alive." It was time to dive in, and as they began to break up, Lily remained rooted to the spot, lingering on the cusp of potential. Could they truly rise together? The thought lit her spirit, yet it intertwined with a flicker of doubt that whispered, was everyone ready to step into the unknown? The days that followed were a whirlwind of thoughts and discussions. Each morning, the office hummed with renewed energy, and every lunch break echoed with laughter, brainstorming, and wild ideas. Lily felt a surge of pride seeing her colleagues open up, imagining a future that wasn't limited to spreadsheets and deadlines, yet, amidst the excitement, shadows lurked. Not everyone was as enthusiastic. Dana's skepticism hadn't vanished entirely, and Lily sensed a palpable tension each time she entered the conference room. Mark and a few others cheered Lily on, but Dana's watchful eyes often darted around like a hawk, ever searching for cracks in the grand vision. On a particularly vibrant Thursday, they gathered for the first official brainstorming session. The whiteboard glistened, ready to be filled with dreams. Mark stood beside her, his presence grounding yet energizing. "This is it," he winked, before passing her the marker. Lily took a deep breath and faced her colleagues, whose faces ranged from eager to cautious. "Let us be bold. No idea is too far-fetched," she encouraged, her voice tinged with urgency. "What do we want to create?" A flood of ideas rushed forth. Someone proposed a community outreach program, while another suggested a creative retreat. The room flowed with enthusiasm, laughter, and banter bouncing like a ball in a game. But a familiar hesitation hushed the room when Dana finally spoke up. "But how do we implement these dreams? Do we even have the resources?" Like a punch to the gut, her words cut through the air. The conversations faltered, the laughter dimmed, and uncertainty once again crept in. "We can figure it out," Lily asserted, trying to rally everyone's spirits. "We can brainstorm ways to fund our dreams, reach out to local businesses. But what if we fail, Lily?" Dana pressed, her frustration palpable. "What if all this excitement leads to disappointment?" Silence fell, heavy and thick. Lily's heart raced. Doubt gnawed at her confidence like a pesky mouse. What if they did fail? The thought sent chills down her spine, but this was her chance to show them that growth often comes from failure. She had to respond, not just as an individual, but as a team leader. "Failure is part of growth," she finally exclaimed, her voice rising above the murmurs. "It means we're trying something new. If we never step out of our comfort zone, how can we even discover our potential? No one has ever changed the world by playing it safe." The room buzzed with uncertainty, but she could see a few heads nodding. Mark's eyes sparkled with encouragement. "Right. And with every setback, we learn." Lily seized the moment, leaning into the vulnerability of the moment. "What if each of us committed to taking one small step toward our dreams, no matter how unlikely they seem? Maybe one week, I work on that community outreach proposal while you start reaching out to local sponsors. We'll have each other's backs." Dana still appeared skeptical, but now her expression softened as she watched Lily's fervor. Slowly, the murmurs began again, building like a wave. Colleagues began to discuss how they could support each other, how every tiny action could add up. With each passing moment, the room began to gain confidence. Lily felt a flicker of hope, yet the knot in her stomach reminded her there was still much to work through. The divide between optimism and resistance was as fragile as gossamer, and she knew one misstep could crumble everything they were building. As the brainstorming session wrapped up, Lily addressed the group one last time. "Let us keep this momentum. We'll meet every week. We can face challenges together and transform obstacles into our stepping stones." "Sounds good," Mark chimed in, prompting more smiles and nods. But as Lily watched the group disperse, she couldn't shake off a lingering thought. Was their newfound enthusiasm genuine? Or would the weight of skepticism pull them back into old habits? Feeling the weight of that doubt, she stepped outside for some fresh air. The cool breeze danced around her as she pondered over the journey that lay ahead. Could they really change the course of their routine lives? Or would the haze of insecurities and fear of failure derail their dreams? Just as she contemplated this, she noticed someone watching her from afar, a stranger lurking just outside the building. Intrigued and a little uneasy, she couldn't help but wonder who were they, and what role could they possibly play in the unfolding story. Lily's mind buzzed as she took a few steps closer to the stranger. The figure leaned against the building, hands casually tucked into the pockets of a well-worn jacket. They looked unassuming, yet something about them drew her in. As her eyes adjusted, the unfamiliar face transformed into a familiar one. It was Alex, a former teammate who'd gone off on a different path a few months ago. "Alex? Is that really you?" She called out, trying to mask her surprise with enthusiasm. With a warm smile, Alex pushed off the wall and approached her. "Hey, Lily. Long time no see. I heard you've been stirring some excitement over here." She couldn't help but feel the electric energy between them. "It's a work in progress," she admitted, her heart lighter now with Alex nearby. "We're trying to push past the usual drudgery, but it's tough. Not everyone is on board." Alex nodded, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "I get that. I faced the same wall when I left. You need people who believe in the vision." "I thought I did," she sighed, glancing back at the conference room, where her colleagues were still trickling out. "But there's always that voice of doubt lurking around." "Sometimes," Alex replied thoughtfully, "all it takes is a little push from someone unexpected. Someone to ignite the spark." Lily swallowed hard. "Do you think I could be that person? I mean, seeing Dana's skepticism affects the others, and I..." The words tangled in her throat. "I want to prove that we can be more than just numbers, but it feels like an uphill battle." "Mentioning uphill battles, that's exactly why I'm here," he said, a hint of excitement lacing his voice. "I've been working with a group that focuses on collaborative projects. They're all about empowering people, and they're looking for someone like you to lead an initiative." Lily's heart pounded. "Led an initiative? Me?" She couldn't help but feel flattered, but skepticism bubbled up as fast as it appeared. "What if I fail? What if I let everyone down? Or what if you inspire them?" Alex countered, a spark in his eyes. "You have this fire in you, Lily. I remember it from the old days. You've always been good at seeing potential where others see barriers." She took a step back, breathing in the moment. Could she bridge her dreams and their doubts? But then she thought of Dana and all the other naysayers. "I don't know if I can make them believe," she confessed. "Make them believe?" Alex smirked, shaking his head. "No, you need to show them. Actions speak louder than words. Sometimes it requires pulling people along until they start to see the light themselves." His words struck a chord deep within her. Maybe he was right. Perhaps it wasn't about trying to convince them but rather leading by example, taking that risk, and finding her own allies along the way. "So, you really think this group could help?" she asked, anticipation bubbling within her. "I know they can," Alex replied firmly. "And if you're ready to take that leap, I promise, you won't be alone this time." For the first time in days, hope flickered brighter in her chest. Could this be the key to resurrecting the spark in her team? Lily's thoughts raced, her mind dancing between possibilities. What if she really could lead her team to something bigger, something transformative? But just as excitement replaced her fear, she noticed Dana approaching from the corner of her eye. The skepticism was already visible on her face. "Don't let that get to you." Alex's voice brought her back to the moment. "Whatever you choose, I believe in you, Lily." As Dana drew closer, Lily steadied her breath. It was time to step up, for herself and her team. Whatever path lay ahead, the real challenge was just beginning. Could she gather the courage to embrace the unknown and rally her team? Would they finally break free from the chains of doubt? With one last look at Alex, she knew she was ready to find out. Lily felt the weight of Dana's stare like a spotlight. It was uncomfortable and familiar, like a lecture she couldn't shake off. Dana stopped a few steps away, arms crossed tightly against her chest, a defiant fortress. "Oh, Alex. You're back, I see," Dana said, her voice dripping with skepticism. "I hope you didn't come here to fill Lily's head with nonsense again." Lily's stomach twisted. Was she ready for this confrontation? The fragile hope Alex had ignited within her clashed with the doubts that Dana so effortlessly reinforced. "I'm not filling her head with nonsense," Alex replied, his tone calm but firm. "I'm encouraging her to take a step forward. To lead." Dana raised an eyebrow as her lips curled into a smirk. "Led? You really believe she can do that?" Lily opened her mouth to respond but faltered. Could she express the fire flickering inside? Could she stand up to Dana's sharp words? "Yes, I can," she said finally, surprising herself with the steadiness of her voice. "I could lead if we did this together. If we worked together as a team." Dana scoffed. "You really think you can convince the others to join your little dream? You're wasting your time." But in that moment, with all her emotions coiling tightly like a rubber band, Lily wasn't backing down. "Just because you don't see the vision doesn't mean it isn't there. What are we without a little risk? What's the point of being safe if we're not going anywhere?" The silence hung heavy, a tension-filled pause where Dana's expression shifted, cracking ever so slightly. "You have to understand, Lily," Dana said, her voice softer, almost vulnerable now. "It's not that I don't believe in change, it's that I don't want you to get hurt." Lily's heart softened. "It's okay to be scared, Dana. But we've become comfortable with our fear. We need to push through it." She glanced back at Alex, who wore an encouraging smile. Just then, the bustling crowd around them ceased to exist. All that mattered was this conversation. Every heartbeat echoed memories of teamwork, of late nights spent brainstorming solutions, and how far they had come before they stalled. Dana uncrossed her arms, the gesture a sign of her internal struggle. "You really think you can lead like that?" "I know I can," Lily replied, her voice gaining confidence. "With the right support, we can be so much more than what we are now. I want us to thrive together." For a moment, Dana's eyes flickered with uncertainty, as if weighing her options. And Lily could see at this glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, Dana wanted to believe. "Let us show everyone that we're not just numbers." Lily took a step forward, channeling every ounce of hope she felt. "Let us find that spark again. Together." The air was charged as Dana processed Lily's words. Would she be part of this journey or remain where it hurt? Suddenly, an unexpected voice broke through the tension. "Maybe we should give it a shot, Dana." It was Peter, one of their more skeptical colleagues, who had been listening from the edge of the crowd. "What do we have to lose?" Lily's heart quickened again, this time with excitement. It was a crack in the walls of doubt. Others began to nod, murmurs of support rippling through the small crowd now gathered around them. "See?" Alex leaned in, a proud grin lighting up his face. "You're already making an impact." Before Dana could respond, Lily's phone buzzed in her pocket, a reminder of the meeting they had set for that afternoon. It felt like the perfect opportunity to chart a new course. "Let us take this to the meeting," she suggested, adrenaline pumping through her veins. "Gather your thoughts. We'll present ideas to everyone. Start turning this around." As they headed into the building, Lily felt the familiar rush of determination. She was taking a leap towards her vision, dragging along everyone who dared to follow. But for all the excitement swirling in her heart, the looming fear of failure still shadowed her steps. Could she keep this momentum alive? As she entered the conference room, her breath caught. Would this be the moment that defined her fate? Everything hinged on what would happen next. Lily faced the table full of skeptical faces and knew that this was just the beginning. Would they support her vision, or would doubt still reign? Lily stepped into the conference room, her heart pounding. The air inside felt dense, filled with expectations and apprehension. She looked around at her colleagues, faces lined with skepticism. Could they really rally behind her? Or would doubt extinguish the flames of her ambition before they even ignited? "Thank you for being here, everyone," she began, her voice steady despite the flutter in her stomach. "I know we've faced challenges. I know it's easy to feel stuck. But I believe we have a chance to change that." A few nods came from the corner of the room, but most gazes remained pinned on her like daggers. Dana's penetrating stare bored into her, unyielding and defensive. "Lily, you really think we can turn this around? Just like that?" Dana interjected, the challenge evident in her tone. Lily swallowed hard, remembering the weight of doubt but also the spark of support. "Yes, I do. I know change is hard, but what have we got to lose? We can't stay here, doing the same old thing expecting different results. We owe it to ourselves to try." The silence that followed felt like a fragile thread, but as she spoke, the words flowed from her like a river breaking through a dam. "We can form smaller teams, brainstorm new ideas, and support each other through this process. Let us find what makes us passionate again." A murmured conversation flared up among the group. Peter leaned forward, his brow furrowing in thought. "But who is going to lead those teams? How do we decide?" "I can't do this alone," Lily admitted, her sincerity creeping into every word. "This is about all of us. If we work together, we can build a road map. I need you all." Finally, Dana spoke again, incredulity creeping back in. "And what if we still fail? What if it's all just meaningless?" Lily felt the weight of that question. It hung heavily in the air, but she took a deep breath and faced it head-on. What if it is meaningful? What if we discover strengths we didn't know we had? Isn't that worth the risk? The room paused, considering her words. At that moment, Alex stood. "I believe in her." His voice rang out with certainty. "Lily's got a vision, and she's shown us that she's willing to fight for it. We all have our fears, but we can't let them paralyze us. If we care about this place, let us give it our all." A ripple of agreement passed through the group. Heads nodded, and a wave of murmurs wafted around, filling the room with burgeoning excitement. "All right, let us give it a chance," Peter finally said, his tone steadier. "Let us schedule another meeting to strategize." Lily felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. This was the first moment of acceptance, the first step toward something greater. The room seemed less like an arena of doubt and more like a cradle of potential. "Thank you," she breathed, feeling lighter. "Let us make this a place where we can grow, together." But just as she began to dream about what that future could hold, the conference room door swung open. A newcomer stepped in, a persistent figure from upper management, her features molded by years of authority. "What is going on here?" The air thickened again. Lily's heart sank. Had they grown too complacent too quickly? Would her vision shatter in the face of this new scrutiny? "Are you all trying to undermine the company?" The manager asked sharply, her eyes sweeping over the gathered crowd. Lily's stomach twisted, but she stood taller, ready to defend their aspirations. Would they stand together, or would fear keep them from the dreams they sought? As the room held its breath, Lily felt the weight of their hopes pressing against her, and she took a step forward into the storm, poised for whatever was to come. Would her courage inspire them all to take that final leap? Lily squared her shoulders, ready to confront the formidable presence that had interrupted her moment of triumph. The tension in the room was palpable, sinking heavier with every second that slipped by. The manager, Angela, was known for her unforgiving approach and sharp tongue. "What is going on here?" Angela repeated, her voice cold and commanding. There was no mistaking the challenge in her eyes. They felt like lasers, cutting through the excitement Lily had just ignited. We were just discussing some new strategies to boost morale and productivity, Angela," Peter chimed in, his voice shaky but earnest. He cast a quick glance at Lily, searching for her cue. Strategies? Or should I say excuses? Angela shot back, unwilling to allow any room for misinterpretation. If you're diverting energy from actual work into brainstorming sessions, this entire company will crumble under our competition. Lily felt a knot form in her stomach. This was her moment, but how could she respond to someone who was so committed to maintaining the status quo? Actually, Angela, she spoke, stepping forward. Her heart raced, but she wouldn't let fear make her retreat now. We believe that fostering teamwork and creative thinking could lead to better results. Stagnation won't save us. It's time to innovate. The room fell eerily silent as her words hung in the air, an unyielding dare against Angela's authority. It wasn't just about her vision now, it was about everyone in that room, about the hope they had begun to share. Sounds like a lot of hot air to me, Angela replied, her gaze unfaltering. Let us be clear, I won't tolerate any disruption to our operations. If you want to play with your little teams, do it on your own time without wasting company resources. Productivity comes first. Always. There were muffled gasps from a few in the room, the threads of support beginning to fray under Angela's steely resolve. Lily could feel the life seeping out of the atmosphere, but an ember of defiance burned within her. Angela, I respect what you're trying to do to keep us afloat. But we need to feel inspired to succeed. A change in our approach could prevent us from being left behind. Lily's voice grew stronger as she pressed on. We won't be consumed by fear of failure. We can fight together, trust each other, and bring our best selves to this company. Isn't that what you want? Angela's expression twisted briefly, a flicker of doubt momentarily breaking through her facade. Lily didn't miss it. Do you really think I want this place to fail? Angela's tone softened almost imperceptibly, though it remained laced with skepticism. The eyes in the room shifted, watching her as the walls of tension buckled. Yes. That's why we need to take a risk, Lily urged. Let us prove we can exceed expectations. Let us show you that hope is more powerful than fear. One by one, faces turned toward Angela, a collective silent plea for change, for support. Angela scanned the room, uncertainty creeping into her steely demeanor. You're all serious about this, aren't you? Lily could feel her heart racing again. Yes. We truly believe we can make this work. The second of hesitation stretched into a fragile moment of possibility. For the first time, Angela seemed to weigh the benefits of a gamble versus her firm hold on the reins. Suddenly, a phone buzzed loudly, breaking the tension. Angela turned slightly, her irritation momentarily distracting her. As she glanced down at her screen, the weight of her decisions loomed larger than ever. Before Angela could regain her composure, Dana whispered, "What if she sees this as an opportunity?" The room held its collective breath, waiting for Angela's response. Would she crush their dreams further or finally empower them to transform? As the mask of authority hardened again across Angela's face, Lily realized they still had a fight ahead. But it was a fight worth waging. The question was, how far would they go to protect their aspirations? And then, with a deep breath, Lily prepared to confront whatever Angela threw their way next. Would they rally together, or would fear push them apart once more? Lily stood at the front of the room, her heart racing like a freight train. The energy crackled in the air, tension woven tightly as they faced a test of resolve. Angela's posture was rigid, her authority was clear. This was the moment that could either fracture their progress or ignite a fire of change. What if I told you, Angela began, her voice cool but tinged with something that felt almost like uncertainty, that I see potential here. Potential for disaster or for growth. But it's your choice. The words tumbled into the room, mingling with the lingering hope they had fostered. Silence followed, a heavy quilt dropping over them, but within it brewed what could be the dawn of something extraordinary. Lily stepped forward, fueled by the whispers of shared dreams. We want to step out of our comfort zones, Angela. To innovate. To take risks. To create a company where passion fuels performance, not fear. Her words rang out, bold and unapologetic. She sensed a flicker of curiosity in the eyes of her colleagues. Above all, she felt Mark's warmth beside her, grounding her once more. They were not alone in this. Angela's gaze shifted, flitting among the faces surrounding her, examining the growing determination. And if I say yes, how do I know you won't waste resources? This company is nothing without productivity. The challenge hung there like a weight. The team needed to think fast, to convince her this transformation was possible and worth the risk. Because people are our greatest assets, Peter piped in. When we invest in each other and our passions, that's when real progress happens. Let us set measurable goals and track our successes. With each word, the air filled with more electricity, hope rippling through the crowd. Their voices, normally muffled by the status quo, were rising now, a symphony of possibility. Angela regarded them, and for the first time, the ice around her seemed to thaw. Slowly, her expression shifted. All right, she said slowly, almost reluctant. Let us give this a trial period. You present me with a solid plan for a project that addresses our department's goals. I'll support it, but it's on you to show me your commitment. If you falter, well, you know what happens. Whispers of disbelief turned to breaths of relief among the group. We can do this, Mark urged, fist pumping as excitement blossomed in the room. Lily felt a swell of gratitude wash over her, even as the weight of responsibility settled on her shoulders. Thank you, Angela. We won't let you down. As Angela exited the room, a wave of exhilaration surged through the group. They were standing together, eyes bright with ambition, hearts beating as one. The moment felt like the first warm rays of sunshine breaking through winter's gloom. Days became a flurry of activity. Lily spearheaded discussions, gathering input from every team member, unearthing dreams hidden away for far too long. They sought connections in their community and developed projects with purpose. The excitement was infectious, a tide pushing each member toward their aspirations, some even sharing their own journeys of doubt and hope. Dana, initially resistant, began to shift. She stayed engaged in discussions, advocating for practicality while slowly allowing herself to believe in the project's vision. Maybe we could create an outreach program for local schools, she offered during a brainstorming session, a spark of passion finally breaking through her defenses. With support flowing, they crafted a clear plan, establishing goals and timelines. It was invigorating, ideas blossomed like flowers in spring. Lily reveled in that energy, feeling alive in a way she hadn't thought possible. The excitement was contagious, spreading like wildfire through their once skeptical colleagues. The day of their presentation to Angela approached swiftly. Lily felt a mixture of pride and anxiety. This was their moment to shine. As she prepared with Mark, looking at the presentation slides, every word seemed charged with purpose. They would showcase not just a project, but the power of community and the spirit of teamwork. Finally, the day arrived. The team gathered in the conference room, a buzz of anticipation electrifying the space. Even Dana seemed to glow with newfound confidence. We've worked hard on this, she said, looking at Lily with a slight nod of solidarity. As they pitched their project to Angela, the room transformed. All that had once felt cautious and mundane melted away, replaced by a rush of creativity and vision. They unveiled their plan, a multifaceted initiative aimed at community outreach, enhanced team training, and personal development. Angela listened intently, her expression shifting from skepticism to intrigue as they painted a picture of what their transformed workplace could achieve. They spoke of collaboration, of nurturing a culture where every voice mattered. When the presentation concluded, silence fell once more. Angela's eyes flashed around the room, taking in the passionate energy that radiated from her employees. I'm impressed, she finally said, her voice steady. You've put forth a compelling case. Let us put this into motion. But remember, the success of this depends on all of you together. Cheers erupted as realization dawned. This was more than just a project, it was a new chapter not only for them but for the entire company. Connections formed, trust restored. Tears of joy blurred Lily's vision as she hugged Mark tightly. "We did it." And as they celebrated, Lily looked around at her colleagues, now a united front. They had walked that precarious line between doubt and trust, and together they found their way to the other side, to a new beginning rooted in hope, resilience, and collaboration. They were not just co-workers anymore, they were a family bound by a shared journey. In that moment, she vowed to honor everything that had led them here: the soldiers' sacrifices, the power of community, and even the doubts that had once paralyzed her. They had faced those shadows and emerged radiant, ready to chase their dreams together. As the laughter echoed around her, Lily felt a surge of gratitude for the experience that had transformed them all. This was their moment, their collective triumph. Together, they would ensure this spark never dimmed again. Now it's your turn to carry this energy forward. Don't wait an instant longer. Subscribe immediately to our channel to catch the next transformative stories that will inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the joy. I want to hear from you. Comment below with your thoughts on this epic conclusion. Let me know how this story impacted you, and what transformations you wish to see in your own life, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need a little encouragement to chase their dreams. This is the moment to show your support for our community. You need to be part of this journey. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us inspire the world together.